My name is Matt Kelly and I'm the co-founder at Just Media Design. There's this massive opportunity in the market for someone to really educate, inspire and help grow Brisbane-based businesses on social platforms. So what we do is we come in as a social agency and help to build brands and build community online. The funny thing about us is we develop digital strategy for other businesses essentially, right? We use social media at the core of what we do. So I'm a big fan of practice what you preach. So not just, we know how to use Facebook because we have Facebook accounts, but having 17 off-brand accounts that we use for all different purposes just to test different strategies, different ideas. So we're extremely active on social platforms. There's social networks like We Heart It, which is a social network that isn't even known in Australia yet, but it's a brand new one budding in the US. So I'm a big fan of experimenting there and developing ideas there so that when we do go out and talk to a Brisbane-based business, they know where the opportunity is and they know it because we've got validated success in that space. The opportunity that social presents is a way to tap into new groups of people. So it's about putting your message out to the world and enabling them to grab onto it and reach out. And it's really been an untapped opportunity up until very recently, where there wasn't a simple way for you to do that unless you put a lot of money out and invested in traditional media. What I love about social is that you can do very cost-effective, very fast, very simple things to test marketing strategy. And I think that's why social is so important today, because you can be lean, you can be fast, and you actually can get results, which is powerful. My typical workday is interesting. So we're only 6 months into the business. So for me, the typical workday is quite a significant difference between new business and talking to new customers and going into client pitch meetings and basically just working with them to work out what they want and don't want and develop a strategy. And then the other half is actually getting in and doing a lot of the grunt work. So it's regular content creation, regular monitoring of what's working, what isn't working, looking at numbers, meeting with the team, chatting about content, brainstorming sessions. It's a huge mix right now. I expect that will sort of change over time and get into more of the existing business than the new business as the business continues to grow. But it's very different every single day. At a director level, two of my partners here actually run Just Digital People, which is a large technology recruitment business. And having that insight, the recruiter insight, working with us when we're trying to recruit staff has been amazing. We've done some different things where, if I'm looking for a content creator, a community builder, I try not to go to Seek or LinkedIn or any of those platforms. I try to go to Twitter. So see what they're doing today, because that tells me about what their tone is, how they work, how they operate, how frequently they use the platforms. We did an initiative recently where we actually put up a very traditional ad on Seek, but then the call to action wasn't send us your resume, it was tweet us. And had a really in-depth conversations with heaps of people just about what they're doing, what's interesting, what they're not doing, why they're not doing things they're not doing. And that was really interesting to just learn what they care about and what's important to them. If you wanted to work for a company like ours, the best thing you could do is tweet us or make a YouTube video and shoot us a link. That's way more powerful to me than sending a resume. We work at totally different levels, so we don't really come in with standardized packages. We don't come in with a generic approach to working with clients. What we really do is we tailor everything that we do, and we do that because every single company's objectives are different. Every single company's initiatives are different. What has worked for them and hasn't worked for them is always different. The other thing that's important to note is that we're very iterative in our approach. So I'd prefer to test 10 ideas and then zero in on the 3 that worked, than spend 6 months working on a strategy for one big campaign and just throw it out and hope that something sticks. The challenge for us in many cases is education, because people have had a bad experience with, a Facebook campaign they tried or it didn't work, or it's just, I can't tell you the number of times someone said to me, Facebook ads don't work because I tried it and it didn't work. It's like, okay, that's cool. Let's have a look at what you did and let's have a look at why it didn't work. I don't believe that there's one fit all strategy, but I think in many cases it's just a lack of awareness and understanding. So for us, we're often educating a market, and that's always a challenge. Things don't just grow overnight, so it's a time game for us and we're playing a long game. So I would rather add as much value as we can, even if it's meeting with companies that have no intent to work with us. It's like, let's just chat early, chat often, and add some value. And when they're ready to execute, we'll be there. The biggest thing they have to do, there is I suppose one important thing, and it's, in my opinion, be lean, be willing to experiment, be willing to start today and not necessarily throw it all out there, but just take steps in the right direction. I think that too often people spend too much time thinking about it. They're not sure whether it's the right approach, the wrong approach, or they do the all or nothing. I don't believe social is all or nothing. I think there's so many platforms, there's so much opportunity, there's so many different customer bases on so many different platforms. You don't know until you start. So I'm a big fan of just test, be iterative, test content. That's the biggest mistake mistake that companies make is they'll make their Facebook page and they'll get their initial fan base on board, which makes sense, and then they'll just start pushing links to their blog, and it's just once a week they get a new link to their blog. It doesn't necessarily work like that. That's not necessarily the right strategy. So mixing up the content is super important, but the most important thing is start now. We chose Brisbane for Just Media Design because this is actually where our base started. This is where we built from the very beginning. I mean, I spent time in the US and that was amazing, but it wasn't home. Brisbane is home, and I think that the beauty of Brisbane in a business like this is that we've sort of brought technology directly over from the US in our space. We've brought strategy directly over, we've brought experience directly over, and we're now trying to embed that in the Brisbane ecosystem, which I love and I'm passionate about. There's massive opportunity in Brisbane for anyone trying to do what we do, but also to build and to grow. It's a growing market, but the opportunity is there because it isn't yet saturated. So yeah, I love Brisbane. Brisbane's home. I don't know why we wouldn't be in Brisbane.